Okay. What is up, folks? It is your host, as always, Mike Bibbins, checking in for episode 48 of the Bibbs Corner podcast. And it's been a long time coming for this one. I feel like I've been plugging this since I started the podcast up back in July, I believe. It took a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie. It took a lot of work to just pull the stats and stuff. I put out three articles, companion pieces. Head to the website bibscorner.com to look over those just to get an idea of what all went into this. One is the methodology, where I go over the different ways that I wanted to approach this, and I'm gonna get into that here in just a second. But the methodology is one of the pieces. I did one for the adjustments that I had to make because, the rules weren't always the same going back to 1947. There were two leagues at one point with the ABA and NBA running simultaneously from 1967 to 1976. Certain awards didn't exist before a certain point in time, so I had to make a lot of adjustments. And then the third piece that I've already put out is the awards that I had to create manually and how I did so. So again, check those out if you want. If you want more clarity on what I did, what my goal was here, definitely check those three out. So here's the format. I'm going to drop this on you, then I'm going to take a quick break, come back, and we'll get into my whole spiel, if you will. The first episode right now is just me introducing the idea, and then I'm going to give you the first 10, so 50 through 41. The next episode will be number 40 down to 26. That's a big chunk, but I'm going to keep it moving. At the end of next week, I'm going to make y'all wait for it. At the end of next week, I'll be giving y'all 25 down to number 11. And then finally, on the week of November 5th, after we find out the presidency, hopefully, I'm going to give you the top 10 and it's a doozy. Like this list came out amazingly. I made a last minute change to a couple of the categories that I included a category late, or a stat, or a way you could accumulate points, GOAT points as I'll call them. I created one late, and it changed the top four. It changed some people in the mid-teens. Like somebody moved up like 3 or 4 spots there. There was a switch between number 6 and number 7. There was a guy who was on the outside who jumped in. I think 2 guys actually may have jumped in who were on the outside previously. One of them is a guy I was hoping would jump in and did. Not that I made the change for that particular player. We'll get into them later in this episode, actually, and I'll tell you. But I will release the original list later after we get through the whole 50. I'll put out the original list as well, just so you can see how the two compare. Again, I'm very happy with how this came out. We got players from every single generation, from the first season in the league to this season. So it's beautiful. I love it. And hopefully you learn about some players you've never heard of. You learn some history of the game. I had a lot of fun doing it. I hope you have a lot of fun listening. I'm going to shut up. I've made you wait long enough. I apologize for all the delays. I hope it's worth it. So quick break. We'll be right back. And let's get into it. The debate around greatness in sports is never ending. Everyone has their own opinion. Somewhere along the way, we decide what makes a player great in our head, and often we attach a name to that idea. Is Brady the GOAT in football? Or do you see him as a product of a legendary coach? Is Ali the greatest boxer of all time? Or is he just the greatest in his class or his era? There's no way to definitively determine for sure who's the GOAT when it comes to comparing athletes across generations. The games evolve, the science around fitness evolves, and the attention we pay to athletes has gone from a couple family members huddling around the radio to hear a blow-by-blow of the fight, to now being able to watch the game on your 90-inch HD TV while watching highlights and replays on your phone, checking your fantasy team lineup, and then checking Instagram to see if that player is still following their teammates. It's a brand new game. And that doesn't stop us from asking, though, who is the greatest of all time? For me, I only really care about that answer when it comes to basketball. It's my first true love, a game I've been playing as far back as I can remember. I know for me, I've always said the GOAT is Michael Jordan. 6 for 6 in the finals, dominated his era to the point that he left in the middle of his domination, went and played a completely different sport, then came back and dominated some more before getting bored again. Or at least that's the story I told in my head. But now we're in year 17, or we just wrapped up, I guess, year 17 of the reign of LeBron James, and I've seen every moment of his career. I've seen his struggles early on. I watched him get to the finals before he was supposed to in 2007. I saw him feel the pressure of needing a ring and leave his hometown team to chase those rings, teaming up with 2 other top 10 players just to be defeated in an embarrassing fashion in 2011. I then watched him turn into a completely different beast in the 2012 playoffs and leave no doubt that he was taking over as king. I then saw him go back to Cleveland and redeem himself by getting them a ring as well, and now I've seen him bring another title to Los Angeles. What I'm saying is, perhaps I've seen way too much of LeBron. Perhaps me seeing Michael Jordan at his peak alone has tainted my view of the GOAT discussion. I was only old enough to really understand what Michael was doing for his last 2 finals runs against the Jazz, and I definitely was pulling against him both times. Clearly that didn't go well for me. In my old age, I've come to want to appreciate what LeBron is doing right now more than I have ever. I often say that LeBron and Will are the most physically gifted basketball players of all time, but that Kareem or Michael Jordan were the greatest of all time. And that brings us to the key point of this entire discussion. What is greatness? To me, greatness isn't how talented a player is. I'm not trying to figure out who would win if these 2 players faced each other one-on-one. Greatness is about the combination of your physical ability and what you were able to accomplish with that ability. Statistically, did you dominate on the scoreboard? Did you dominate the other players in your era? Did you stake your claim as the best when compared to your peers at the time? And of course, winning always helps. All these things are important, especially when comparing players across eras. My goal with this entire process was to design a methodology that gave us players from the 40s, 50s, all the way up to today. I wanted this to be both educational for myself and for anybody that decided to hit play on the episodes, or to read the articles that are be coming out later. I wanted to develop a formula. And if you know me, going back to high school, this is something I do. For years, I worked on a formula to predict the NCAA tournament winner. And I really got good at predicting who the winner would be. The problem was predicting all the little upsets along the way. The good thing about this particular process is that there are less variables. With the NCAA tournament, I have to worry about who's going to get into foul trouble, or whose coach stayed up late that night, stressed about the game, what player decided to not be able to hit that night. Whereas here, I'm taking what has already been done and putting it into a formula to calculate what those things pan out to on a GOAT status level. So for that to occur, I had to figure out what mattered and what didn't when it came to deciding who was the greatest of all time. The first thing I had to do was figure out which players I wanted to look at. There were well over 4,000 players that have touched an NBA court, and I knew I wasn't trying to filter data for all of them. So here were the rules I came up with for consideration. I started by saying I wanted guys who had achieved 6 All-NBA awards. In my opinion, that's a long run of being a top 15 player in the league. If you can do that for 6 years, then you have a claim, in my opinion, of being the greatest of all time. Or one of the greats, I should say. I later realized that if somebody had 6 All-NBA third team awards, based on the formula I developed, they would have gotten 36 points. So I decided that if you had more than 36 points with less than 6 appearances, you would be in. For example, a All-NBA first team appearance got you 20 points. An All-NBA second team appearance got you 10. So if you had an All-NBA first and 2 All-NBA seconds, that got you above 36 points, and I wanted to make sure I included those players. This allowed guys who had short or injury-riddled careers with high peaks to make the list. I then went back and added every single person who won an MVP award. The MVP award in my formula counts for 100 points. So clearly that's well above 36. For whatever reason, I didn't do this initially, but I did do this right at the end. And I went back and added every finals MVP winner because the finals MVP is worth 50 points. Also a late addition was that I added every single finals runner-up, and I should say the best player from every finals runner-up, from 1977 to present. Why 1977? That was the year that the NBA and ABA combined forces and doubled the size of the league. In 1984, the playoffs expanded from 12 teams, I should say, with a play-in round to a 16-team tournament where every team had to play the same amount of games along the way. I wanted to give those players that made it to the finals in the 16-team tournament more credit, or the opportunity, I should say, to earn some credit for making a run to the finals where what they did would have gotten them a championship potentially in years prior. Finally, I made an exception to allow players who won 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards just because I wanted to make sure I got some of the defenders in my formula to make sure I wasn't excluding them. In the end, I ended up looking at stats for 136 players. I've already touched on this lightly, but I'm going to give you the point system very briefly. And the reason I'm taking this time right now is because I plan to use music here in a second, and I have to have 10 minutes of audio between an ad and the music. So bear with me. We're almost there. So first of all, an MVP award gets you 100 points. A finals MVP gets you 50 points. Now, the finals MVP was not awarded until 1969, but fortunately, there was an individual who put together a list of who would have won the finals MVP from 1947 to 1968, and I looked over his formula, and it looked good to me, so I used it with one slight tweak, which you can go see in the adjustments and in the awards I added list. Next, the finals runner-up MVP from 1984 to present got 25 points. For example, Dirk in 2006 was on the losing side, but he won the Western Conference, winning 3 games back in the time before then would have gotten him a championship. So I wanted to give him some credit, and guys like him as well. That was one of the late additions. The finals runner-up MVP from 77 to 83, I awarded 12.5 points. Why less? Well, it was still a 3-round tournament for the first few rounds. For the top few seeds, I should say. They only had to win 3 games rather than 4 to win the championship. Though there were more teams and more talent, I still wanted to give them some credit, but I didn't want to give them equal credit for once the playoffs expanded to 16 teams. I awarded 20 points for an All-NBA first team appearance, 10 points for an All-NBA second team appearance, and 6.67 points for an All-NBA third team appearance. The logic there was that 20 points times 5 is 100, which would mean that an All-NBA appearance, 5 All-NBA appearances equals 1 MVP, 10 second team appearances equals 1 MVP, and 15 third team appearances would equal 1 MVP. Makes sense to me. Defensive Player of the Year was 15 points. This award was not awarded until 1983, so I used defensive win shares to fill in the gaps from 1947 to 1982, and you can see that in the awards I added companion piece as well, the list of those players. First team all defense was 3 points. Again, that wasn't awarded until 1969 in the NBA and 1973 in the ABA. And the ABA also only had one team, so I did have to add awards for those as well, which, again, you can find in the companion piece. Second team all-defense is 1.5 point. Same logic as the All-NBA MVP was applied for the all-defense teams. 5 first-team all-defenses would equal 1 Defensive Player of the Year. I then gave 5 points to a player for being the scoring champion for the year. I gave 1.5 points to the rebound champion and 1.5 points for the assist champion. Now, rebounds were not tracked until the 1950-1951 season, so there's a slight asterisk that I have to put out there for guys from the first 3 years of the season. There's a potential they could have earned an additional 6 total points. So keep that in mind, and I'll let you know whenever we reach a point where a guy is affected by this rule. And finally, the career stats. I wanted to focus on things that I felt like mattered, and points definitely had to be number one. Playoff performance had to go over regular season, and then I added some extra bonus points for rebounds and assists. Steals and blocks had to be excluded because they did not exist for so long, and there are too many key players that were affected by this. So playoff points per game, I used the top 50 players for playoff points per game. Number 1 was awarded 100 points. Number 2, 98. Number 3, 96. And on down the list, down to number 50, getting 2 points. Career points per game, regular season, I did the top 30, same concept. Number 1 got 60 points. Number 2 got 58. Career total points in the playoffs. Total points. Again, total points is meant to award longevity and sustained skill. So 25 points for number 1, 24 for number 2, and so on. And I only did the top 25. I don't know if I said that already. Career total points, same concept as above, but I just did the top 15. So number 1 got 15 points, number 2 got 14. Career rebounds per game, I did the top 15, and the points were divided by 3. So number 1 would have gotten 5 points. Number 4 would have gotten 4 points. Number 7 would have gotten 3 points, and so on down the list. And the same went for assists, top 15 and divided by 3. So number 1 got 5 points. And that's pretty much it. My goal is to be able to revisit and tweak the formula in the future. Again, it's going to be easier to read this than to listen to me say it right now. So definitely check out the methodology companion piece. And I'm already at 15 minutes. I've made you guys wait long enough. Let's go ahead and get into these players. Yes, sir, folks. Without further ado, and I know I just made you wait 20 more minutes, but we're going to get straight into this. No games, straight to it. So first of all, coming in at number 50, a player you have probably never heard of in your entire life, Paul Arizin. Nicknames Pitchin' Paul or Poppin' Paul. Paul Arizin was a 6'4" small forward out of Philadelphia. Played his college ball at Villanova, where he once scored 85 points in a game. He scored over 100 points in an exhibition game against a junior college, but it's not officially counted because it was an exhibition. He played in the NBA from 1950 to 1962. There was a 2-year gap, and we'll get into that a little bit later. Unfortunately, well, I can't say unfortunately, he passed in 2006 at his home peacefully, well into his 70s, lived a full life. During his playing career from 50 to 62, he only played for the Philadelphia Warriors. During that time, he was the 1951 Rookie of the Year, unofficially, because that award didn't really count at the time. He was a 10-time All-Star, the 1952 All-Star Game MVP, a 2-time scoring champ, made 3 All-NBA first teams, and 1 All-NBA second team. When I had to go back and add all defensive accolades, he was named to the first team All-Defense in 1951 and second team All-Defense in 1960. He's also currently in the Hall of Fame. He won a ring with the 1956 Philadelphia Warriors. And his claim to fame was his line drive jump shot. He was deadly with that jump shot, as shown by his 2 scoring titles. And some fun facts about Mr. Arizin. After his second year in the NBA, he left to serve in the Korean War and joined the Marines. He was gone for 2 seasons, and that second season before he left, he was All-NBA first team and led the league in scoring, averaging 25.4 points per game, 11.3 rebounds per game, and for the time, shooting a whopping 44.8% from the field. He came back, continued his career, still continued to play well, again won the championship in 56. But when the Warriors decided to move to San Francisco, Paul decided to retire. A Philly boy from start to finish. Moving along. Number 49 on our list is a guy who I came to fall in love with while I was going through making the list. I was hoping that he would make it. He actually moved down after I made the adjustments, but I'm glad he's still on the list. And I actually went and saw a video of him, and I'll include that when I release the written piece to go along with this episode next week. But number 49 on the list is Joe Fulks. His nickname was Jumpin' Joe, or the Katawa Clipper. He was a 6'5" power forward from Birmingham, Kentucky. Went to high school in Katawa. His college, Murray State. Shout out to John Morant. He played from 1946, yes, the first year of the NBA, to 1954. He also played for the Philadelphia Warriors during that span. His accolades, he is a Hall of Famer. He was a 2-time All-Star. He was the first scoring champ in 1947. Back then, the league was called the Basketball Association of America for the first 3 seasons, actually. So he was a 4-time All-BAA or NBA first-teamer. I had to do a lot of awards, so he was named to the 48, 49, and 51 All-Defensive First Teams after I created those lists. And he got 2 Finals MVPs, which I also had to create. Now, he did win the first ever BAA championship in 1947. He lost the second one, but he was so dominant on the scoreboard that based on the formula that was used to decide who should have won Finals MVP, he was one of the 2 losers that ends up winning it. He actually had outperformed Jerry West, who won it, I believe, in 69, the first year of the award. So, going back to our guy, Joe Fulks, his claim to fame, and this is what really amazed me when I looked into him, he's the pioneer of the modern jump shot. He had a signature turnaround J, and he was ambidextrous, so he could kill you with both hands. Now, I know what you're thinking. Guys from the 40s threw those weird, goofy underhand shots or whatever. But if you go look at some Joe Folks clips, he actually has a regular looking jumper compared to the guys of his day. That's why he got the nickname Jumpin' Joe, because nobody had seen that before. Fun facts about him. Again, he served in World War II. Not again. The first guy served in the Korean War. Folks served in World War II. So after college, he served 2 years. Or he was in college for 2 years. Good God, I'm stumbling over my words. Please forgive me. He went to college for 2 years at Murray State. Then from 42 to 46, he was fighting in World War II. He came back and joined the BAA, which had just started up. He's considered the first basketball superstar. He was 25 when he finally got to the league. On February 10th, 1949, he scored 63 points in a game, and he held the record for points in a game until Elgin Baylor broke that record in 1959. Now, I have to give you a low light, really a couple, but very different low lights. The first one is that if you go look at his stats, you're going to see his field goal percentage is atrocious. I believe he still holds the record for most missed shots in a game in the regular season and in the playoffs. Get buckets by any means necessary. Am I right? That was the goofiest shit I've ever said. Please, just forget I just said that. And that's a terrible segue for what I'm about to tell you. Unfortunately, Joe Folks met a tragic end at the age of 54 when he and his girlfriend's son got into an argument over a handgun, and the girlfriend's son killed him. It's something that kind of hurt my soul when I read it the first time because, like I said, I fell in love with him while I was reading through all his stats, and then looking at his video clips. Just seemed like a really interesting character, and I love history, period. So give me some history and basketball together, I'm all over it. So definitely disappointing to hear how he met his end. Moving on. Number 48 on our list is a guy that you should all be very familiar with. And I had to give you the dramatic pause so you can start racking your brain and worrying about who I'm about to say. Number 48 is Jason Kidd. J-Kidd, or Asen Kidd, when he came into the league because he had no J. 6'4" point guard out of San Francisco. Played his college ball at Cal. Was in the NBA from 1994 through 2013 and is currently a Los Angeles Lakers assistant. During his time in the NBA, he played for the Mavericks, the Suns, the Nets, the Mavericks again, and then finally finished his career with the Knicks. His accolades: he was the 1995 Rookie of the Year, a 5-time assist champ, 10-time All-Star, 5 All-NBA first teams, 1 All-NBA second, 4 All-NBA defensive first, and 5 All-NBA defensive second. And he's 8th in career assists per game. When I went and made the finals runner-up MVPs for 84 forward, he ended up winning 2 of those for his time losing back-to-back finals in New Jersey. Finally, he did get his ring in 2011 with the Dallas Mavericks. And again, I'm going to enjoy bringing the 2011 up throughout this series. We'll get back to that again later. I've already had to bring it up here, and you will hear it again multiple times. Stay tuned. His claim to fame, it was harder for the newer guys to come up with like a claim to fame or anything, but I guess the one thing that people kind of talk about with him is that, again, when he came into the league, he was just a dimer with no jump shot. But during his peak in Dallas, he did shoot over 40% from the three, making himself a threat from outside, and again, hit some big shots for us in that finals run. And we're going to move right along. Number 47 on our list is Billy Cunningham. Nicknamed the Kangaroo Kid, Billy Cunningham was a 6'6" forward, we're going to say. Could be power or small, depending on the situation. Born in Brooklyn, played his college ball at UNC. He was active in the ABA/NBA from 1966 to 1976. He played his NBA ball with the Philadelphia Warriors, and he played 2 years in the ABA with the Carolina Cougars. So he's the first player on our list to have played in the 2 competing leagues at the time. He's a Hall of Famer, 5-time All-Star, 4 with the NBA and 1 with the ABA. 3-time All-NBA first, 1 All-NBA second. He was the 1973 ABA MVP and All-ABA first team. He won a title in 1967. Did I really not put the team? I'm slipping. Hold up. Bear with me, y'all. I'm not going to leave you hanging. It had to be the Philadelphia Warriors. I'm an idiot. Yes, he won a 1967 title with the Philadelphia Warriors because that is the only NBA team he played for. That was a waste of time. Getting back to it. His claim to fame: he became a great coach after he retired. For a while was the 3rd winningest coach behind Steve Kerr and Phil Jackson. Nick Nurse is currently number 1 right now, moving him down to 4th. But 4th all time in winning percentage right now. We'll see how that holds up. He started his career in the NBA, went to the ABA, and then came back to the NBA. He was in the ABA for 2 seasons. His number 32 is retired by the 76ers / Warriors, I guess. I guess Philly kept the rights to the team. Time out. All right, bear with me. It was not the Philadelphia Warriors. It was the 76ers. I'm an idiot. I got caught up with all my Philadelphia Warrior guys in the beginning. So, never played for the Warriors. They had already moved at this point. I'm not redoing that. So, his number 32 was retired by the 76ers. He did allow Charles Barkley to wear it when Charles decided to switch his number from 34 to 32 in honor of Magic Johnson when Magic came out as HIV positive. He won a title as an NBA coach in 1983 with the 76ers. And, he, again, legendary coach. I believe he went on to be a commentator as well for a while, from the 80s and 90s, and currently is relaxing in his old age. Moving forward. Number 46 is another guy you all should know very well. No, not as well as Jason Kidd. Don't think about it like that. But you have seen this guy very recently and or heard his voice. Perhaps where you were annoyed by it. Number 46 on our list is Bill Walton. Nickname Big Red. 6'11" center out of La Mesa, California. UCLA for his college days. He played in the NBA from 1974 to 1987, though he missed 3 full seasons and probably a lot more game time than that when you look at his career overall. A lot of injury issues for him. Teams he played on: the Portland Blazers, San Diego Clippers, the Los Angeles Clippers, and the Boston Celtics. The Accolades: 1977 Finals MVP, 1978 League MVP, 1977 block champ, 1977 rebound champ, 2-time All-Star, 1986 Sixth Man of the Year, All-NBA first team in 1978 and All-NBA second team in 77. He was All-Defensive team in both of those years as well. And he got 1/5 of a Defensive Player of the Year share when I had to go back and do the Defensive Player of the Year awards for the years where the award did not exist. He won 2 rings in his career in Portland in 1977, which is why Dame shouts him out on the song, saying that he wants to bring a ship to Portland, just like Walton did, which is a bar, by the way. And he also won a ring in 1986, coming off the bench for Boston. His claim to fame, he's still a legend, but imagine if he didn't have the injury issues. His number 32 is retired by the Blazers and UCLA. He only played 58 games the year he won the MVP. I believe his team was 50-8 at the time he went down with an injury, and he did return for the playoffs. He sat out the 1978-79 season because Portland refused to trade him. Think about the Kawhi situation. Walton felt like the team was not taking care of his health and was putting him at risk, and that's why he was asking for a trade. When they refused to trade him, he just decided to sit out the whole year and became a free agent after that year. In 2009, he returned to Portland and apologized for how things ended and said that if he could go back and do it over, he would. He also apologized for, I guess, the injuries, which obviously he had no control over, but basically saying he wanted to be that Portland legend and he didn't like how it ended and he hopes they forgive him. When he did come back late in his career, he said that it was going to be either the Lakers or the Celtics. He talked to both teams. He ended up choosing the Celtics over the Lakers because Jerry West was waiting on doctor's reports before deciding if he would be willing to sign him, whereas Larry Bird happened to be in the office when Walton was talking to the Celtics, and Larry Bird said that if Walton felt healthy, then he wanted him in. Doesn't care about the doctor's reports. And it turned into rings, so clearly it worked out. Last thing, Walton, however you feel about him as a commentator, he overcame a stuttering problem to get where he is and be able to even do that job. So just another piece of his legend. And with that, I'm going to take a quick break and we'll finish off these last 5. We got some fun names coming up.
2020's motivational, gunning for I'm in a league by myself. Carry this weight like I own it. They see my picture, try to stone it, yo, but gotta keep it rolling. Cause opportunity was calling. And I know these brothers know it, though. A league by myself. Yeah, yeah. Cause this is GOAT talk. Yeah, yeah. Hold on, this that GOAT talk. I'm trying to understand how success is classified.
Okay, getting right back to it. We're going to start with number 45 on our list. Another guy you should all be very familiar with, and our first active player. Number 45 on our list is Anthony Davis, AD, the unibrow, 6'10" power forward, out of Chicago, played 1 year at Kentucky, has been in the NBA since 2012, and is really just hitting his prime. Davis played for the New Orleans Hornets, who eventually became the New Orleans Pelicans, and obviously played this past year with the Los Angeles Lakers. In his short career, he already has 7 All-Star appearances. He's a 3-time block champion, 4-time All-NBA first team, 2-time All-NBA defensive first, and 2-time All-NBA defensive second team. Obviously, he won a ring this year. His signature is the unibrow. And some current fun facts about him, because again, I'm not wasting time on it. If you already know the guy, you don't need the full history, right? He's currently 6th all-time in playoff points per game and currently 22nd all-time in career points per game. Now, with an active player, you have to look at those particular stats with a grain of salt. They could go up for a little while here over the next few years. They could end up going down eventually, so his place may fluctuate. But as of today, if he walks away from the game and never plays again, he's coming in at 45 on our list. Moving forward, we got another active player back to back. This guy is a fun guy. Kawhi Leonard, the Claw, 6'7" small forward out of Los Angeles. Played his college ball at San Diego State. Has been in the league since 2011. His teams, the Spurs, the Raptors, and the Clippers, collected rings in his first 2 stops and is hoping to do the same in the third. His accolades, he is a 4-time All-Star, the 2015 Steals champ, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, 2-time Finals MVP, 2-time All-NBA First Team, 2-time All-NBA Second Team, 3-time All-Defensive First Team, and 3-time All-Defensive Second Team. As I already mentioned, Kawhi Leonard won a ring in 2014 with the Spurs and a ring in 2019 with the Raptors, earning MVP honors in both appearances. His claim to fame right now, getting the Raptors their first championship ever, and his huge personality, of course. Fun facts. Again, he's another guy whose story is still being told right now. A lot can change between now and the end of his career, but again, if he walks away today, he's coming in at 44 on our list. And another side note, San Diego State retired his jersey this past February. He's the first player actually to have his jersey retired at the school. Moving along, and we had and I don't know how this happened with how many things I put into this formula, but we actually had a 2-way tie for number 42. So we're going 42A and 42B. I'm going to start with 42B. 42B is Spencer Haywood, nicknames Wood or Woody. A 6'8" center / power forward from Silver City, Mississippi. Went to college at Detroit Mercy. His playing years were from 1969 to 1983, though he made a brief detour in Italy for 1980-1981 season. His teams. His first pro year was with the Denver Rockets out of the ABA. He then went to the Seattle Sonics, played for the Knicks, played for the New Orleans Jazz, played for the Lakers, played for the Washington Bullets before his career was over. His accolades, and this might take a second, Hall of Famer, 5-time All-Star, 1970 MVP, and that obviously was in the ABA. He was the MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and Rookie of the Year that year in the ABA. He was All-ABA First Team, obviously, and All-ABA First Team Defense. He made 2 All-NBA First Teams and 2 All-NBA Second Teams when he got to the league. He also was a scoring and rebound champion in 1970 in the ABA. He averaged 30 points and 19.5 rebounds per game. And that 19.5 rebounds per game is an ABA all-time record for the 10 years that league was active. He did not get any additional accolades from me. He got his 1 ring in 1980s with the Lakers near the end of his career. His claim to fame, and this one gets to be a little bit fun. He was illegally signed by the Seattle Sonics after his 1 year in the ABA. The Seattle Sonics were in the NBA. The NBA at the time had a rule that made players ineligible if they were not 3 years removed from high school. But the Sonics signed him anyway, and they sued the league, or they filed an antitrust suit against the league that ended up actually going to the Supreme Court, Haywood versus the NBA. The NBA ended up settling, and obviously he was able to play. Fun facts, his number 24 is retired by the Sonics. His number 45 is retired by Detroit Mercy College. He was the youngest MVP ever at the age of 21 in his 1 year in the ABA. And again, the ABA allowed players to come out of, I believe, high school or 1 year removed from college based on hardship is what they called it. So if a kid came from a rough area, he needed money to support his family type of thing, rather than make him go to college, they said, come play for us. Somebody who's not going to have you be dancing in the video. No, I was kidding. It wasn't a death row type thing. They just got all the young talent to come straight to the ABA, which actually ended up working well for them. Moving on again, that 19.5 boards is an all-time ABA record. Again, I have to end this one on a somewhat of a sad note, but he did battle cocaine addiction in the 70s, which got him waived by the Lakers in 1980. And that is why he ended up going to Italy for the 1980-81 season before coming back and finishing up his career with the Washington Bullets. 42A is another guy that you all know very well. You don't necessarily like this guy, though. This is Dwyane Wade, number 42A, the Flash, D. Wade, 6'4", shooting guard out of Chicago, played his college ball at Marquette. His NBA career was from 2003 to 2019. He played during that time for the Miami Heat, Chicago Bulls, and the Cavs during some struggle years there. His accolades: 13-time All-Star, 2009 scoring champion, 2006 finals MVP 2006, blah. 2-time All-NBA first team, 3-time All-NBA second team, 3-time All-NBA third team, and 3 All-NBA defensive second team. For me, he did get a award when I did the finals runner-up MVPs. He got that award for the 2011 finals when he carried LeBron and Chris Bosh. Did his best to try to carry them to the mountaintop, but it just wasn't enough to get past Dirk and them boys. Despite that, Wade does have 3 rings, 1 in 2006 awarded by the refs, and then 2 from 2012 and 2013 when LeBron decided to be a man and win games. Dwyane Wade's claim to fame: he is Miami basketball, Miami Wade County, all-time leader in points, games, assists, steals, shots made, and shots taken. Some additional facts about Mr. Wade: 43rd all-time in playoff points per game right now, 12th all-time in playoff total points, and his number 3 has been retired by the Heat and Marquette. And he's still very, very present in our lives today. I think he's been added as a TNT commentator, so we will not be getting rid of him anytime soon. And finally, before we close out this episode, number 41 on our list is Dwight Howard. Another active player, 3rd active player, if I'm not mistaken, on this episode. And there are 2 guys who recently retired with Kidd and Wade. You got some guys from the 70s, and then you got 2 guys from the beginning of time. So as you can see, this list is very much spread out. Everybody is well represented. That's why I love it. But getting back to the point, Dwight Howard, number 41 on our list, Superman, D12, 6'10" center out of Atlanta. He came straight out of high school in 2004 and is still currently in the league. During his run, he's played for the Orlando Magic, the Los Angeles Lakers, the Houston Rockets, the Atlanta Hawks, the Charlotte Hornets, the Washington Wizards, and then finally has come back to the Lakers this year. He is an 8-time All-Star, 5-time rebound champ, 2-time block champion, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, 5-time All-NBA first team, 1 All-NBA second team, 2 All-NBA third teams, 4 All-Defensive first teams, and 1 All-Defensive second team. From me, he did earn a finals runner-up MVP for, was it 2010? Did I make that up? I think I made that up. I think it was 2010. Good God, I did it again. Oops, I did it again. I made up a stat, and now I'm checking. Oh, baby, baby. All right, hold on. 2010. I believe it was 2010. I'm tripping. Gosh. We know it wasn't 2011. All right, playoffs. Where is it at? Orlando, Boston. That was not. It wasn't 2010. Was it 2009? It must have been 2009. Jesus. Please forgive me, y'all. I promise I did a lot of research. I worked really hard on this, and I don't want y'all to tell people I half-assed it and didn't know what year Dwight Howard went to the finals. Yes, there it is. Well, lost in the finals 4-1, and I actually was surprised that this one went to Dwight. I thought it was going to end up going to Hedo because I just remember Hedo was killing it in the playoffs, but it did go to Dwight. Back to the points. He got his ring this year finally, was emotional about it. Shaq talked crap about him for absolutely no reason. His claim to fame, to me anyway, is the epic 2008 Slam Dunk Contest. Just a lot of fun at the Slam Dunk Contest, which he did win, by the way. He is the Magic all-time scoring leader and is 15th in NBA career rebounds per game as it stands. I love Dwight Howard. I wanted him in Dallas for a very long time. If we can get him in Dallas next year, I will be pleased. And please believe me on that. But that's it for right now, folks. This is the end of the first episode in the NBA GOAT series. I hope you enjoyed it. It's only going to get more fun from here. The rest of the episodes are just straight players. So none of that boring intro stuff you had to deal with. I apologize. Yeah, I'm excited. We're going to get this going. And again, the written piece will come out a week after the episode comes out. I want to make sure I make people listen, or try to get people to listen first. And then you can go back and read, watch video, stuff like that. A week later. I appreciate you guys stopping in, and I do have outro music now, so don't worry about this bleeding into the next episode. Peace.